open Instagram, scroll through TikTok. What do you see, Alex?
Let me guess. Someone on a yacht in Dubai, someone showing off a new luxury car, and at least 3 videos about a side hustle that will make you a millionaire by next year.
Exactly. It feels like everywhere you look, there's this intense pressure and obsession with getting rich and getting rich fast. It's not just a quiet ambition anymore. It's a loud, public performance.
Right, it makes you wonder, what's behind it all? Why do so many of us want to be rich so badly these days?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore today. Welcome, everyone, to Sunny English Bite, the podcast where we unpack interesting topics to help you practice and improve your English listening skills. I'm your host, Sunny. I love asking the big picture questions.
And I'm Alex. I'll be here to keep our feet on the ground. We're so glad you've joined us.
So, Alex, let's dive right in. This modern obsession with wealth. Do you think it's really about the material things, the designer clothes and sports cars, or is there something deeper driving it?
I think the shiny objects are just a symptom, not the cause. For me, and I think for a lot of people, the real driver is a desire for security.
Security. Yeah, that resonates.
It's the feeling of knowing that if your car breaks down or you have an unexpected medical bill, it's not a catastrophe. It's an inconvenience, but you can handle it. That peace of mind is priceless.
Right. It's freedom from that constant low-level anxiety that so many people live with, the fear of one bad month completely derailing your life.
Exactly. And beyond security, there's freedom. The freedom to leave a job you hate, the freedom to take a year off to travel, or to start your own business. Money, in that sense, buys options. It buys control over your own time.
Control over your time? That's a powerful idea because so many of us feel like our time isn't our own. It belongs to our employer, our obligations.
And I think that's the core of it. We're not chasing piles of cash so much as we're chasing the autonomy that we believe cash will bring.
But let's talk about this social element because it's not just an internal desire for security anymore. Social media has turned it into a competition.
Oh, absolutely. The whole hustle culture phenomenon, it glorifies working 80-hour weeks, sleeping 4 hours a night, all in the pursuit of wealth. It's become a badge of honor.
Right. And it creates this narrative that if you're not constantly grinding, you're failing. You're not ambitious enough. There's almost a moral judgment attached to it.
Totally. And the image presented is so misleading. You see the success story, the person posing with a Lamborghini, but you don't see the years of struggle, the failures, the immense stress, or the huge amount of debt they might be in.
It's a highlight reel, a carefully curated advertisement for a life that might not even be real. And it makes people feel inadequate about their own normal, perfectly good lives.
That's the danger. It shifts the goalposts. Suddenly, having a stable job and a happy family isn't enough. You need to be a multimillionaire to be considered successful.
This makes me think about the language we use. We talk about being rich, but what about feeling wealthy? Do you think there's a difference?
I think there's a huge difference. Being rich sounds like a destination, a specific number you have to hit in your bank account. 7 figures, 8 figures.
A finish line.
Yeah, and the problem with a finish line like that is that it often just moves further away once you get close. But feeling wealthy, that's a state of mind. It's about having enough to live comfortably, to not worry constantly, and to have the freedom to make choices. It's about abundance.
So someone could be technically rich with a high income, but feel completely poor because they're overworked, stressed, and their expenses are just as high.
Precisely. While someone else with a much more modest income might feel incredibly wealthy because they have a great work-life balance, low debt, and time for their hobbies and family.
It's a shift from an external measure to an internal one, from how much do I have to do I have enough for the life I want.
That's it. It's about defining what enough means for you personally.
So if we reframe it that way, then money isn't the ultimate goal, is it?
No, it can't be. It has to be a tool. Very important, very useful tool, but a tool nonetheless.
A tool for what?
A tool for building the life you want. If your goal is to be a great parent who's present for their kids, money is a tool that might allow you to work from home or take time off for school events. If your goal is to create art, money is the tool that buys you the supplies and the time to create.
I love that. If money itself is the goal, the pursuit is endless and probably unfulfilling. But if a fulfilling life is the goal, money becomes a resource to help you get there. And that raises a really interesting question. If money is a tool to build a life, how many of us have actually sat down and drawn up the blueprints for the life we want to build? It's easy to say, I want to be rich, but it's much harder to say, I want a life where I can read for an hour every morning, have dinner with my family every night, and take a long walk in nature every weekend. The second one requires deep self-reflection.
Right, you wouldn't say your goal in building a house is to collect as many hammers as possible. The hammer is just a tool.
Thinking about it as a tool, I imagine many people who are just starting to think about their finances don't always know how to use it correctly. What are some of the common mistakes people make when they first try to build wealth?
Well, the biggest one, fueled by social media, is falling for get-rich-quick schemes. The promise of high returns with no risk. It's almost always too good to be true.
The siren song of easy money.
Exactly. Another big one is lifestyle inflation. As soon as you get a raise, you upgrade your car, your apartment, your subscriptions, and you end up in the exact same financial position as before, just with nicer stuff and more stress.
And you never actually get ahead, you're just running faster on the same hamster wheel.
You got it. And probably the most fundamental mistake is simply not knowing where your money's going, not having a budget, or even just a basic awareness of your spending habits. You can't build anything if you don't know what materials you have to work with.
So, on the flip side, what are some simple, realistic steps for someone listening who wants to move towards that feeling of being wealthy and secure without getting caught up in the obsession?
I think the single most powerful and least scary first step is just to track your spending. For 1 month, write down everything you spend money on. Don't judge it, don't change anything, just observe.
Just gather the data.
Yep, awareness is the first step to control. The second thing is to automate your savings, even if it's a tiny amount, $20, $50 a paycheck, have it automatically transferred to a separate savings account.
So you don't even have to think about it.
Right, you pay yourself first. The amount is less important at the beginning than building the habit. Consistency over intensity. And finally, think long term. The power of compounding is incredible over decades, but it's completely invisible day to day. You have to have a little faith in the future.
That's great summary. Awareness, consistency, and a long-term mindset. It's simple, but not easy. And it's the complete opposite of the get-rich-quick culture. This has been such a fascinating discussion. If you're enjoying our conversation and finding it useful for your English practice, we would really appreciate your support.
It only takes a second. Please subscribe to Sunny English Bite. Give this episode a thumbs up and be sure to hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode.
So, to bring it all together, it seems this intense, modern desire to be rich isn't really about greed for most people. It's a rational response to an uncertain world, a desire for security, freedom, and control.
Right, and maybe the healthiest way to approach it is to shift our goal from getting rich to feeling wealthy. It's not about hitting a certain number, it's about designing a life that feels abundant and secure to you.
A beautiful way to put it. Maybe becoming rich isn't about the number in your bank account, but about how much control you have over your life.
Well said.
Thank you all so much for listening today. We hope you'll join us again next week. We're going to be talking about the surprising science behind why being bored is actually good for you.
It's a good one. You won't want to miss it. Until next time.